Well, hey, greeters. It's Eric Clark again. Yes, again already. It's November. I can't even believe it. It just feels like it was August the other day, and we began kind of our new service schedule. And so, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I really do feel honored that you would take 15 or so minutes out of your week in preparation for Sunday to sit down and really focus on this video. It's not lost on me or Sandy. We're very honored that you would take this time as we seek to link arms with you, partner with you, work side by side with you guys as we welcome the strangers, we welcome the disconnected, the de-churched, the skeptic, or the longtime a joyous believer onto our campuses and into our services. You guys are incredibly vital for all of that. And so, as we've been doing for 2 months now, we've taken each week of the month and assigned it to one of the 4 guest services teams, and we've sent out a video kind of overview of what's kind of going on, different things like that. And again, the first week of the month, it's designated for our greeting team. It's been really cool to see the greeting team really grow and blossom and see all the incredible servant leaders just buying in and investing in this team. And so thank you again. I mean, honestly, it's week after week, and I'm not just saying this. You can ask your peers, actually. We're hearing stories week after week of how you guys are outwardly facing, making outsiders insiders, removing any offensive hurdles so that people coming onto this campus might be welcomed. And so thank you so very much for all that you're doing. If you don't know, hopefully you do, but the transition from Craig King direct leadership, along with Teresa Reed in the admin capacity, that transition from his leadership to my leadership with Sandy Moore pretty much providing incredible leadership, week-to-week tactical support. That transition is complete, and so we feel very honored to really kind of take the baton from them and to really be grateful for the leadership, the foundation that they laid, and then really their partnership in this transition period. And so we wouldn't be where we are right now without them and what they kind of invested. So thanks again for just injecting so much life into guest services in this team. So thank you. Now, again, we're doing this. The why behind this video is we've got 200 plus people in guest services. Historically, when we've called meetings, we've gotten about 25 to 30% attendance across guest services. And so we thought, hey, could we sit down, almost a conversation face to face? I know it's kind of virtual, but to have a little conversation about kind of what's going on, some things that we want you guys to be aware of, some things that we would ask from you, some things that we're doing for you, and then really focus on some of the why behind what we do in this ministry area. So instead of sending you a long, like 5-page email, we wanted to do the video. So got about 6 things I want to talk to you here in the next 10 minutes or so. You're like, 6 things, and Eric, I know how long you go. Well, it should go pretty quick because you. And so the first thing is this, planning center, accepting and declining your scheduling requests on planning center. If you are doing that currently, if you're utilizing planning center and accepting or declining, man, thank you so very much. When we're trying to coordinate on a week-to-week basis, 200 plus people across 4 teams, you doing that accepting or declining helps us have a great picture of what to expect as far as staffing across our 4 teams come the Sunday. As you can only imagine from our perspective, we need a tool to help us do that across 200 people, and Planning Center is that. So currently utilizing Planning Center. we would hope that you would get on board. It's nothing that we're going to force, but hopefully you understand the why behind it. It's not we're trying to be big brother or micromanage or anything like that. It's just so that we know that our teams are staffed and ready to go across our 3 services. And then our 2 venues on the Midland campus. And so we've changed the way we've scheduled in across guest services. We're scheduling everybody every week. And so you can go into Planning Center and block out dates that you're not available so you won't get those scheduling invitations to accept or decline. But what we really want to do is we want to train you in this. And so if you're not utilizing it now and you're kind of technologically adverse or just maybe you don't feel comfortable with it, we have a computer now in the guest services green room that Sandy or myself or some of our other servant leaders who utilize it can help train you, set up your profile, block out dates, set your preferences, whether or not you want those requests to come to your email or to your phone via text message or both. And so hopefully we can help you start utilizing if you're not utilizing Planning Center. But if you are, thank you again. So first was Planning Center. Second is check-in. One of the things we'd love for you guys to do is to check in and get a name tag before you come to Connect Time and then go to your post. It's not another hoop that we want you to jump through. Really, there's some really important things that checking in does. The first is that when we're trying to ascertain who actually showed up and checked in, and who didn't, it gives us a picture of who we need to maybe follow up with. And so with Planning Center and check-in together, it gives us a really robust framework to know who's there and who's not so that we can follow up and just maybe see how things are going. How can we help? Are things good? Great. If they're not, how can we come alongside of you and support you as the body of Christ? And the second important thing is those check-ins are actually used as metrics for our elders and our executive leadership team when they're thinking about making decisions with buildings, which we're kind of in right now, or different things like that, staffing, so on and so forth. We want to have reliable metrics, and if you don't check in, then we don't know you're here via metrics, so our elders and leaders don't have accurate metrics. So and then ultimately we want to increase the total percentage of greeters who are serving on a weekly basis, and so that'll help us kind of know who to pursue and who we don't have to call and connect with. And so please, when you arrive on campus, take some time to check in at one of the check-in kiosks right to the left of Stonemar, our bookstore. If you don't know how to do that or need a key fob to do self-check-in, let Sandy know or myself know, and we'll get that worked out for you guys. So Planning Center, checking in. The third is Connect Time. Connect Time is something that Sandy and I rolled out as we kind of took more and more ownership and leadership in guest services. We're hoping to get more cafe and more ushers in Connect Time, but primarily Connect Time started for the greeters so that we could all get together before the service and really connect with one another, share stories, remember the why, talk about maybe some need to know issues for that morning, so that as you go out and greet, if people ask you questions, you're equipped and ready to let them know. And by the way, you can go to stonegatefellowship.com/NTK, need to know. So stonegatefellowship.com/NTK, and you can get some need to know information on your smartphone or whatever. That's a little kind of rabbit trail. But the reason we do Connect Time too is that we end together after we've kind of done the need to knows and talked about the why and shared stories and talked about where we're gonna be assigned in the morning, is that we pray together, because you're not just standing at a door. You're interacting with souls, and we want to be empowered by the Holy Spirit to love them well, welcome them well, embrace them well as they walk in. So if you come to the 9 a.m. service We meet in the the green room at 8:15, from 8:15 to 8:30 for our connect time, and then you're able to go out and get at your post or your door, wherever you're serving on the greeting team by 8:30. If you serve at the 10:30 service or the noon service, we've combined the connect time, and that's right after the 9 a.m. service from about 10 o'clock or 10:02 from 10:15. And so we meet in the green room in that same time and go over the same things before we go out and get deployed and serve. So one thing associated with the green room, really the green room is for all guest service team members primarily, but if another Stonegate servant leader from, let's say, kids or worship tech arts or student ministry comes in, we want to also welcome them in, give them some snacks, and allow them some drink as well. Now we're all on the same team, and so just want to give that a little aside. So the fourth thing that we want to talk about is that we want to continue to own the foyer and reverse greet. And so one of the things that we've been so impressed that you guys have just owned the foyer well. You guys have done incredible. We want no question that the greeters own the foyer in the sense of our presence is warm and welcoming and electric and outwardly facing. It's incredible when we're at the entry doors, in the middle of the foyer, at the auditorium doors, meeting with people, smiling with people, directing people. You're being proactive. You're being enthusiastic. You're not reactive. You are looking for the people who might have questions. It's an incredible thing to witness. So thank you for and continue to own that foyer. Now, reverse greeting is something I think where we're kind of hit and miss sometimes, and so reverse greeting is important. Is important for us. Excuse me. Here's a little kind of illustration of why it's important. So if you have people over at your house, your home for dinner, when those guests leave your home, do you sit in your chair or on your sofa and just let them leave and find the door themselves? I don't think that normally happens. I know that when we have people over our house, when it's time to leave, we walk them to the door, we shake their hand, we embrace them. Just because they're good friends. We're not saying that you need to embrace them at the door, but we walk them to the door, and sometimes even outside of the door, down the sidewalk a little bit. And so we reverse greet at our house too. And so for us, that's the important part of reverse greeting. Is they get a warm welcome coming in and then a warm welcoming leaving. And then also, two more things. If they have questions, there's people at the doors or in the foyer who they can find in the gray shirts. And then also, the way our scheduling and our shifts for guest services have kind of fleshed themselves out, that the reverse greeting after the 9 o'clock and after the 10:30 service make sure that the doors are covered and allows those working at the 10:30 and at the noon the ability to go to their connect time. And so please, if you are in the 9 o'clock service, let's say you greet before and you're in the 9 o'clock service, that's your service that you attend, please try to sit in the back of the room to a degree, so that when the announcements happen, if they're at the end or if somebody prays, the pastor or whoever prays at the end, you can get up and make your way to your spot to reverse greet. So I know that may be inconveniencing to a degree, but hopefully you understand the why behind that. Which kind of leads into the last thing I want to talk to you. Thank you so much. If you're still with us, you haven't hit the pause button and left. The plumb line for November. So we've covered 3 plumb lines already. That the gospel is offensive, nothing else should be, was the first one. Last month it was making outsiders insiders. And this month the plumb line is the why is more important than the what. And so what we do every Sunday, week in and week out, is very what driven. I wrote it this way: how do I park these cars well? So I have to put 90 cones throughout the parking lot. Yeah, something I learned with the parking team. There are 90 cones across our campus. Or so what do I say to people when they come to the door? Or what pots are decaf and what pots are regular? Why do I need to collect the offering this way? So what we do is very what driven. We need to know what we need to do what we do well. But if we're not careful, we could go on and on and on and on about all that we need to do during the weekend. And all the what's are the very tactical, this is what I need to do to do my job well. Can sometimes cause us personal heartache, personal frustration, and we want to do all these things excellently and with great efficiency and do it effectively. But the what must never supersede the why. The why should drive the what all the time. And the why for us, from J.D. Greer's book, The Gospel, it's one of my favorite books. He says in there, one of the memorable lines in there is, let me see if I can remember it. As Jesus has been to me, so I will be to others. It's this idea of how Jesus has served me and loved me. As he's done that to me, so I will be to others. So really, the way that Jesus has treated us drives the way that we treat other people. The why we show up week in and week out is because the Son of God came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. And so we want to guard the why. We want to be saturated in the why. We want to be driven and motivated by the why, so that the what is saturated with grace and mercy. One of the things my mentor, Denny Franks, in this area said is, I wrote it this way: the what helps our teams prepare for guests, and the why helps them respond to guests. So the why, that as Jesus has been to us, so we will be to others, helps us prepare to how to respond to our guests. And the what helps us prepare for them. And so hopefully we guard ferociously the why, that as Jesus has been to us, so we are to others. And so the why is ultimately more important than the what for us. And so that's our plumb line for this month. Again, thank you for sticking around and investing in this video. I feel honored that you would take such a chunk out of your day to listen and to invest in this ministry. Look forward to seeing you guys Sunday. Talk to you later.